Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 2 of the Science Fiction Rating System, a podcast that aims to rank every science fiction film ever released from 1 to however many, 3 films at a time. I'm Sam, and I'm joined as ever by Chris.
Hello.
And Alex.
Hello.
How are we all doing?
Good.
Very good, thank you. Yeah.
Ready to rate these films.
I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you stitched me up on Independence Day last week. So.
Yeah. What you're ready to see Independence Day plummet. That's what we promised the end of last week's show, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, we'll see. So, just before we start, a few bits of housekeeping. If you heard last week's show, we were planning to be weekly, but we're going to be sort of fortnightly now. That might change again, but for now, we'll be doing it fortnightly, so we've got more time to watch the films. Also, I wanted to mention that this idea was actually ripped off from another podcast, and I thought I should probably mention that. It comes from a podcast called Tournament of Lies, which is a video game podcast, which I've not really listened to because they do it a bit differently, but I thought I should credit it because otherwise, it's a bit rude, isn't it?
Yeah.
You stitch yourself up there legally. Shouldn't have done that.
There's a slightly different format, so I think we're safe.
Okay.
I think ours is actually a better way of doing it.
Yeah.
They'll never hear this, so it doesn't matter, does it?
You've not seen it. You've not listened to it.
No.
Then maybe they ripped it up from someone else. If you haven't listened to their podcast, you never know.
Well, no, apparently they did. Because they ripped it off from a comic book podcast, so everything's stolen.
So you better
Nothing's
credit
original.
them as well.
Well, I don't know what that is, though. If you want to hear what the original credit is, then you have to listen to Tournament of Lies to get the original credit. So that's homework for the listener.
Yeah.
So if you didn't listen last week, it won't make much sense. Go back and listen. But just in case you didn't, we're basically going to discuss 3 films this week, and then add them to our ultimate list of rankings, which at the minute is 3 films long. We've got number 1, Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. At number 2, Jurassic Park, and at number 3, Independence Day. The highest that film will ever be. Possibly. We don't know. Yeah, I think so. And going forward, we're going to have sort of hopefully themes around most weeks. But for this week, we picked a film each, basically. So the films we got were, I think, Chris, did you choose Wall-E? Is that right?
Wall-E. Wall-E's mine.
Alex, you went for They Live.
Yep.
And I went for Innerspace. So let's get to it, I suppose. Should we crack on with the first film?
So, Wall-E.
Yeah, so the first film is Wall-E. Chris, do you want to say a few words about why?
Yeah, Wall-E is obviously animated, so this is our first animated one.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of my favourite films because it sort of relies on sound design through the whole thing, really. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just really clever. And also, as it's a kids' film, it's actually really thoughtful, it's clever, it's got an environmental message, which I think is really cool for one of these animated kids' films. Mm-hmm. I think it's actually one of the, as far as intellectually speaking, I think it's probably the most intellectual out of all of these like Pixar-style films.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's reminiscent of things like Silent Running and
2001.
Yeah, this type of stuff. So I mean, it's really cool. I mean, and I love all all the characters are kind of robots in it, and they've all got particular functionalities, and they're all really clever how they're designed and the noises they make. I really love it. Yeah,
cool. I also really love it. I think it's the only Pixar film that I actually enjoy. I don't really like Pixar at all, but this is the only one that I do quite like it. I think, for me, the first half hour is the best bit of the film, just because there's just no talk at all, is there really? I love it's all just told through the actions, and it's really clever, like how much they manage to convey, how quickly they sort of paint the world as it is, like what's happened to the world just by showing you a few shots of the rubbish and stuff like that, and the billboard of the series.
By and Large is the company.
That's it. Yeah.
It's quite cool how they have this mega corporation.
Yeah, and they just set the scene so fast with it. You sort of, in 5 minutes you're in now. You know exactly what's going on. You know what Wally's up to. Yeah, it's I think it's a really good film. Alex,
you could kind of, if you saw that beginning and you didn't know it was a Pixar film, you could think it was some kind of horrific post-apocalyptic kind of catastrophe film. Like all those, like that shot of just like all the horrible buildings and just all that stuff. It's pretty out there at the beginning before you know there's a cute, friendly robot.
Yeah. You don't know where you're not going to spend the whole of the film on that on Earth either, do you? You think you could just be on that like Mad Maxy type setup all the way through. It's cool. Actually, when the captain is played by the guy who plays
Jeff Garlin.
Jeff. Jeff Garlin.
Yeah. No, he's really good.
Yeah.
He's got a tough job, really. He's the only sort of, main speaking role. There's a few other little bits and pieces, but he's just sort of talking to nothing, is he, or a robot for that role, and I think he does really well with that.
Yeah, the autopilot.
Yeah. I think it's good as well how it's quite a dark story, really, isn't it? But obviously told in quite a light, fanciful way, the idea of society falling down to the stage where even our bones have started to go away because we're so lazy. It's it could be in a different world. It's quite a dark thing, and I think it's a really they like walk a very clever line, don't they? Of like they could sell toys and kids could see it as this is a funny robot doing this sort of stuff, but it is quite a, as you say, there's a good message there, and it's quite
it's cynical of like consumerism and how we've stuffed up the planet and that kind of thing. So that's quite good.
Yeah,
it's cool. And all the actual production design of it, how things are designed, I think is really beautiful as well. Like the ships and the robots and everything is really well thought out.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, it's coherent, definitely.
When we picked these films, we kind of said there wasn't really a theme, but I think this is kind of, you could almost see that by and large as kind of a weird version of In They Live. The kind of consumerism in that just kind of totally taking over, and kind of, although it's a bit more, it's human led, but it's pretty much like we just gave into it, we just succumbed to this horrific kind of buying, and also that bit where where he knocks the woman's screen and she finally sees for the first time as well.
It's like a signing over of control, and the people the humans who live on the ship, just like they're just fat and sit around on the sleepers, on the sun loungers. And they've signed over the control to the autopilot, and that's kind of a futurist theme as well, isn't it?
I love the bit with the fire extinguisher in space. That's my favourite bit of the film, I think. And he's like just flying around. It's like I really like
the music.
Yeah, it's just as you said, that look of it is a real sort of, because it does. When I saw it this last week, the CGI started to age, hasn't it, a bit? Like it does look not as fancy as more modern.
I think it looks pretty
good. It still looks really good, but it doesn't look as as mind blowing as before. So
it is not trying to be realistic though, is it? Yeah. It's got a theme, it's got a style to itself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like, even though it is not cutting edge anymore, because it's such a coherent look to it, it doesn't really matter because it all hangs together perfectly, doesn't it? It's,
But they blend the realism in really well with the clips of Hello Dolly, and then with the way you see the progression of the captains from being human to being kind of those
good.
blobs. It's really
He just gets
the way
fatter every generation.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing it at the cinema and thinking it was good, but then watching it this time, I thought it was a fucking masterpiece. I thought it was amazing. Just everything about it works so well, on every level of the message, or just the comedy, or if you want to see it as straight kids film. I just think really.
The only thing I don't like about it is just there's just too much romance in it for me. There's too many. It's too soppy at times. But
what?
Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved all that. Oh, I loved all that, man.
Eve loves Wally. What's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Heart of Stone.
It was alright. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. I still thought it was a good film. Just I could have done without a bit less of that kind of nonsense,
Just less of the romance.
Yeah. That music gets a bit old in it as well. That music from that
Hello Dolly
musical.
It's Hello Dolly. Yeah.
That gets a bit old by the end of the. Yeah.
Yeah, that does get very old. Yeah.
He was kind of like the character design. He's a bit like E.T. meets R2D2, isn't he, Wally?
Yeah, it's a bit like Johnny Five.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
not like Johnny Five. Yeah,
The head is like Johnny Five.
yeah. He talks a bit like Johnny Five as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think they owe Johnny Five a lot? Is that what you're saying? Short circuit.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it does actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also the cockroach. I love the cockroach. You know the bit when she's trying to fix him at the end, and the cockroach is like nervously pacing backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
I love that. It's really
I mean,
funny.
for a cockroach, it's pretty amazing characterization, isn't it?
Yeah. It's good. It's a good real like economy of like they do so much for so little, don't they? Really, like there's very few characters. Like the little brushing robot as well. He's
he's great. Yeah.
There's a lot there with not much really there. It's a really like well constructed story. It's very good film. Very good film.
Yeah.
And also they answer all the questions in the credits of what happens to humanity, which I'd forgotten they did because I was thinking,
that was there. All different
what's going to
styles
happen?
of art, like from.
Yeah,
but the way they did it as well, like kind of cave paintings and like a Van Gogh and
that's cool. I like it.
Yes.
I like a credit animation.
Yeah, because you could just think it's a bit of a cheap shot to be like, oh yeah, all these fat people are back on Earth, and there's like 3 plants. Brilliant. How are they going to survive? But they kind of give you that whole story without you having to. Well, it makes you watch the credits basically.
Yeah. It's good that.
Yeah, really good. Okay, not much more to say, is there really? I don't think.
Do we have to slot that one in now into the?
Yeah. Oh, yes, straight away. First of all,
okay.
So let's start with the obvious question: is it better than Independence Day?
Yes.
Yes. Is it better than Jurassic Park?
No.
Alex,
I think maybe. Yeah, I really, I thought it was brilliant.
you think it is?
Yeah. I think for every level of it worked artistically. I think the story, the science fiction. Yeah. No.
Are you describing Jurassic Park or Wally? Just trying to figure.
I don't mind it being 3. I don't mind. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not better than Jurassic Park, is it? Let's be honest. Like,
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's good. It has a lot going. There's a lot more going for it than I thought it did. I was greatly surprised.
I just remembered there's some really cool like little spin-off shorts from Wall-E of like the other little robots and stuff, and they've all got names like which are like they are pseudo their job, like they spell out their job when you say them. It's quite clever. Like,
are they making another one of those, or are they not doing another?
No idea.
Because they often seem to do
Surely
sequels to
you couldn't
everything, don't
really.
they? Except for that.
It doesn't really need a sequel, does it?
No, I suppose.
No, it's great.
Okay, so Wally, thumbs up all round, really. Comes in at number 3 on the ranking. Let's have a short break and come back and discuss Innerspace. We're back with the second film of the day from 1987, I think. Innerspace, directed by.
Innerspace. So I'm just
Innerspace.
interrupting you with.
Yeah, he's
This isn't
carry
your
on, carry
film,
on.
Chris.
Carry on.
This one wasn't yours.
Yeah, it's 87. You're right. Yeah, continue.
What a big intro.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's his film as well. He's the one that picked it.
Right, Innerspace, directed by Joe Dante of Gremlins fame. And I picked this one because when I was a kid, I absolutely bloody loved this film. It was fantastic. Martin Short, love him, with Dennis Quaid going around his body. But it's not quite what I remember, to be honest with you. It's a strange film.
No.
There's some weird things going on in it, not least of which is the main villain's being shrunk down to like sort of dwarf size towards the end, and that was just very odd, like very strange. Just a really odd. I mean, I like the premise. Guy gets shrunk down into the body. It's pretty cool, tried and tested sci-fi sort of thing. But it's just a mess, isn't it? It's an absolute mess.
It's a complete fucking mess. I thought this film was good. I remembered liking this film. and you've just that. I wish I hadn't rewatched it. Really, it's just terrible.
Sorry.
It was just awful. It's like 7 films all being made at the same time, trying to compete with each other. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
The Meg Ryan, I didn't realise. I forgot she was in it.
Yeah.
Before she became a crackhead.
In a very strange role as well. Like her relationship with Martin Short in that film is very bizarre. Like the bit when she rescues Martin Short after being like frozen in the fridge. That's a weird scene as well. Where he's like,
Yeah.
But then Martin Short wants a kiss, and
It's a little bit like the Saturday Night Live films.
yeah,
Like them,
yeah.
but I'm not.
Crap.
I guess were they all from that?
No. Martin Short was on
No.
Saturday Night Live, but that's not a Lorne Michaels one. It's it's something different. But yeah, no, what was I saying? That bit where he has a kiss and he makes Dennis Quaid turn off his cameras.
Yeah.
That bit?
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's just down to it. You know, she's got Dennis Quaid's baby, but Martin Short wants a big kiss.
That's the weirdest way to find out that someone's got your baby, is to fly a tiny ship and see their baby looming like the end of 2001 at you. That's a surreal way of telling someone, isn't it?
It's just such a strange. From the very first shot of like him being that drunk at the sort of pilot's ball, like what are they trying to? I don't know what they're setting up there. It's very, very odd.
He's doing a very hard Jack Nicholson impression, isn't he? Pretty much through all of that. It's just Jack Nicholson light, basically. Especially that beginning. I don't know. It kind of sucked.
It's got Robert Picardo from Voyager in it.
It has, yeah. In one of that role, and also what's the guy called? The bad guy, sort of a bit like Jaws. He's called like Snap On or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a flame. He's got like a torch on his arm, hasn't he? Like an oxyacetylene torch.
He's in Commando, isn't he? Bennett in Commando.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah, yeah. He's great. If it was just a straight Bond rip-off or spy film, it would be good.
Yeah.
But what's the point of the science? To me, it kind of commits one of the cardinal sins, especially in sci-fi, is to have a good idea and then just piss it away. They have a good idea to go in the body, and then they just piss it all away really badly.
Yeah, it's played to me like as though the person who wrote it or the team that wrote it, or whatever, had got like a bunch of set pieces they'd thought of, like a guy with a attachment on his arm. Robert Picardo's his character, what's he called? Is he called the Mexican or something?
Cowboy.
The cowboy, that was it. His character. Yeah. And they just got all these little bits and they thought, well, let's just shove them all together and see what happens. But
I don't think I really understood. There's a bit where, when he gets in the pod and they shrink the pod.
Yeah.
There's a bit where there's like a robotic arm which is putting in these microchips into the computer.
Oh, yes, yeah.
What the fuck is that about?
I guess
is it just so they can get a robotic arm in there?
I think so. They're trying to show how like cutting edge it was, weren't they? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because literally taking it off like a shelf, aren't they? Moving to another shelf.
Yeah. Well, the robotic arm places the chip into the circuit board.
Yeah.
Like that's activated some machine.
Yeah.
It's like, have you not heard of a switch? A switch would do the same job.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Very strange, very odd.
Yeah.
But also, there's a guy in it. I think he's one of the people working for the Air Force, a black guy who, like, when they bring Martin Short in, he goes like, "Oh, we have to kill him, whatever." And at the end of the film, he's a good guy trying to save them. Like he just completely flips. There's loads of things like that where they seem to just forgot what they were doing and changed their mind about stuff.
No, it just didn't really, and I didn't really even understand the powers of the pod.
And the end as well, and like they drive off, and isn't it the bad guys are in the boot or something?
Yeah.
And Martin Short just steals a car and just goes off into the distance.
Yeah.
Chasing them.
No, he's got the chips as cufflinks for some reason. Why would you give?
Oh yeah.
Why would you give the chips to turn the machine on as cufflinks? It doesn't really. Is a lot of stuff doesn't make any sense in it at all. But
it's in the 80s. There was as I was saying with Jurassic Park. I mean that was 90s, but. Like, there was a misunderstanding of technology to a certain extent, like, in the general public. So that sort of storyline kind of was able to fly.
Yeah. But even if you think of it as ridiculous, it's still just not a very good film, is it? Like, regardless of how ridiculous the idea is, it just doesn't.
No,
it just doesn't work on any level, really.
No,
I like the joke when he's talking to Martin Short's at the urinal, and he's talking to Dennis Quaid in his head, and the guy in there thinks he's talking to his dick. Do you remember that bit? That was a good joke.
Yeah,
that was,
but the stuff in the pod's good, and the effects are good. Didn't it win an Oscar or something for the effects?
Did it?
God knows. I'm just having.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty
It
sure
won
it
an
did.
Academy Award for Best Visual Effects.
Oh wow!
Yeah. But the effects are good, and all the pod stuff, the weird robot shark thing versus the pod at the end over the stomach acid.
Yeah.
That's all really good. That's all fun, but there's just not enough of that. It's all just silly, weird. If you got annoyed at the romance in WALL-E, what about the terrible romance in this?
Yeah.
It was
it's. I mean, at the start when he goes back to Meg Ryan's house, or no, she goes back to his house. It's like borderline rape, isn't it? She's trying to leave, and he's just like blocking the door and go, no. It's very, very, very odd.
Yeah.
And once he's in the body, like, I think he needed some sort of like mission inside the body, didn't he? He's not really doing anything inside the body other than just being there, is he? You know,
just larking about.
Yeah.
And what was he going to do in the rabbit?
Yeah, I don't know. Lark about in there, I suppose. Very odd. There's so much odd things. I just remember in the bit as well where they get drunk, where
the
obligatory
80s dance sequence. Yeah. No,
so
it's and it just the message just seemed to be, if you're a loser, just be a giant arsehole and then you'll get ahead. I didn't really see what the message of the film was.
Yeah, I don't know what the message of the film was. I don't think there is a message, is there really? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Don't be a hypochondriac.
Yeah. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is a much better shrinking film.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, 100%. Someone should remake Innerspace better. I think it could do with a remake.
It wouldn't be hard.
No, it wouldn't be hard. The one good bit of it I've just remembered, actually, is the very start of the film, the titles, the music that plays over the titles. Do you remember that? It's a nice bit of like 80s synth music there.
Composer Jerry Goldsmith.
Of Star Trek fame.
Yep. We've had 2 good composers so far.
We have. Well, we've got another good composer to come as well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get round to ranking this film.
This is going straight to the bottom for me.
I actually agree with Chris.
I
think this is worse
than
Independence Day.
I really didn't think that would be the case.
It shows how some films become like classics. They don't have to be like super technically good films to become a classic film where it gets put on TV every year at Christmas and everyone knows it. This is one which is obviously, for good reason, hasn't become that.
Yes. That's a good point, yeah. There is a reason I've not seen it since I was 12 or whatever. Yeah,
no, when, right. They still put on TV, like, Batteries Not Included every year, it says Steven Spielberg Presents on the poster.
Oh, yeah.
Presented what?
It was Amblin Entertainment who made it.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't be happy with
very
that.
Poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rotten Tomatoes score for this film is 82%.
What?
Like, how weird is that? Which makes
People do right on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, that's critics' scores from when it came out.
Oh,
which makes me think
so that's actually of the time.
Yeah, so it must be that it probably was better when we were kids, and it just has aged very poorly, hasn't it?
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, definitely all the weird, like, sexist sort of stuff with Meg Ryan, that obviously was just normal then,
Yeah.
That's aged badly, but
Joe Dante's a good. Joe Dante's a good director. It's just a bit.
You say that, but Gremlins is good. What else is he
Matinee? Matinee. Have you seen Matinee?
No,
That's really good.
I haven't seen Matinee.
That's really, really good. Yeah. And Small Soldiers is good. I'm sorry, it is. Yeah.
Looney Tunes back in action.
Well, no, okay, all right. I'm not saying all his films are good, but
the whole 3D.
He's better. Oh no, that's actually not that bad a film. Actually, that's not that bad. I've seen that.
Oh well. So we've got a new bottom film, so that's good. Independence Day didn't stay there for long. Innerspace coming in at number 5. So let's have another break and then get on to our final film of the day. And we're back with our final film of the day, from 1988, John Carpenter's They Live, starring the wonderful Rowdy Roddy Piper, rest in peace, and Keith David, who is still alive, I think. Alex, this was your choice, so do you want to start us off?
Yes. I love John Carpenter, and I always have. Obviously, I love all this horror, but he's made other great films, and this is one of them. And it's based on a short story that was made into a cartoon, or made into a comic, and he based it on that. And it's basically Roddy Piper's Nada. That's the character's name.
I didn't
he's
know
a
that.
drifter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and he's a drifter that just kind of comes into town, and
He's got nada.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
He's got it. Nothing gets
got
past
it.
Chris.
and it's just kind of he has nothing, ends up living in this shanty town, and there's little weird things going on in the church opposite. And then basically it kind of spirals from there in a very odd way. I mean, I don't know. We do spoilers, but yeah, it's basically it's aliens. Aliens run everything, and that's the kind of big reveal in that amazing sequence with the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I love this film anyway, but rewatching it, I actually thought it was better rewatching it. So it kind of, I got more out of it this time than I did first time I saw it.
Yeah.
So yeah, classic, I would say. Definitely.
Chris?
So I'd never seen. Well, I thought I'd seen it, and then it became apparent that I hadn't seen it. I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. It took a while to get going. It's a bit weird at the beginning. Like I think, yeah, the music's ridiculously bad.
No, it's not. It's brilliant.
Oh,
It's
no.
brilliant.
It's like MIDI.
It's brilliant.
What is it, like MIDI piano or something? It's some instrument it's trying to be, but it's MIDI. It's like a synthesized MIDI version of it. And then he goes to this shanty town, which seems like, because everyone's smartly dressed and doesn't look dirty, it kind of looks like a modern day. If it wasn't in the 80s, it'd be like what you'd find now, where like communities like just live together and make things and stuff. But it's obviously not that. They are trying to make it as if they're homeless people. But they all eat. At one point he gets a meal and he's like eating it off like some bone china, like a plate, like a crockery.
I love that when she goes,
like full on.
When he's getting the food and she goes, do you want more? And he just goes, yes.
As she puts,
it's a weird
as she
reading
puts
that
on
line.
like vegetables.
Yeah,
like,
loads of pigs. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
He probably hasn't eaten for 7 days.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird. But then the sequence where he does like put the glasses on and he notices that stuff, that's like really well done. That's cool.
Yeah. I love
that.
the line when he laughs, he takes them off, he looks at the screen, he laughs and he goes, figures it was something like this. Like I love that line so much. Like it's so like, I don't know, it's just such a good, and then he's like shotgunning people. I love his reaction to it all. Just like, no, this makes sense. I'll go with it. It's pretty ridiculous, but yeah, of course it's something like this. You know, it sort of sets I love how it kind of it lets you sort of see the ridiculousness of the film and not take it too seriously. You know, like it's good at. It knows what it is basically. It knows it's a stupid premise. It knows.
It definitely seems
silly.
like it is a short story, like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah. No. I think it does the thing that horror does, but sci-fi does as well. That just it is just silly and trashy, but it's actually making a really, really massive point that weirdly is more accurate today than it was. I mean, it was against Reaganism and consumerism, but I mean, with Trump, it's pretty much spot on now.
Oh yeah, that was the weird thing about it, wasn't it? Really watching it again.
They try and show, they try and not consumerism. Why they like there's be an advert of like some fashion show on there, but it's so 80s and shit. It looks like now it would look like a tramp, but there's these people in like they don't even touch the size as far as what actually we have now, which is worse. Yeah. So. I agree with both of you that it's a fantastic film. I absolutely love it. I think probably my favourite John Carpenter film. I think it's just such a unique sort of thing. I mean, I think it helps that you've got Roddy Piper who can't act, and I think that's why you get a lot of the slow, you know, him looking at stuff sort of scenes. And it's got a lovely sort of vibe to it, like him just wandering around, just observing things. Because obviously, you know, when he does act, he's awful, but it gives it a strange sort of. It gives it it's sort of.
I don't know. It's a weird sort of thing, as though you're just like following him about, isn't it? It doesn't feel much like a film for a long time, until towards the end.
Well, this was an era when like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal were considered actors. Like this is there is of that ilk.
Well, compared to Roddy Piper, they are actors, aren't they? Though.
Yeah.
I mean, he is particularly awful.
Yeah. But I think a good, interesting element of him being terrible is it kind of, if you, obviously as the audience, you know that they're aliens and that's who he's, shotgunning in the face. Mm-hmm. But from an outside perspective of just being a person who didn't know they were aliens, you would just think that there's some mad person running around on a murder spree. And him being such a terrible actor kind of almost heightens his madness a little bit, I think. You can see it from a weird alternate perspective.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of that film where he goes mad with a shotgun.
Hobo with a shotgun.
Yeah, there's that, but also the
Michael Douglas one. Falling Down. Yeah, I thought that. It reminded me of Falling Down as well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that sort of
bits of. I mean, obviously, this probably a lot of things have been have sort of nicked stuff from this film. Probably, it's got that Simon Pegg film where they're all aliens in that.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you remember Duke Nukem, the computer game Duke Nukem, every line he says is stolen from this film, pretty much. Like the one, I'm here to what is it? I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah,
that scene's brilliant. In the back.
That's good.
But the best scene in the film, though, without a doubt, is I think it's 7.5 minute fight scene.
Oh yeah.
Which
definitely,
it has me in tears every time I watch it. It's just absolutely incredible. The fact that it keeps sort of stopping and then carrying on, and then the final time they sort of break. For the listener at home, if you've not seen it, you should have seen it. Basically, Roddy Piper is trying to make Keith David put the glasses on. Keith David does really, really not want to put the glasses on. He's got a good thing. I've got a wife and children, man. I'm not going to put the glasses on. But Roddy won't take no for an answer, and so he starts dropping some wrestling moves. And I love the shot when Keith he knocks Keith David into the car, and then he cracks up and he laughs while he goes to hit him. Do you know that bit? Like he can't keep a straight face, and that's such a I don't know. It's a really nice sort of non-film sort of thing, isn't it? Like
it's a little bit like Family Guy when he's fighting the chicken. It just goes on going forever, and then right at the end, the two of them are walking down the street. They've both got glasses on, but they're both battered because they've just been fighting each other for a few minutes.
When he goes to the B&B, they're just both stood there, just like big bruised faces. I need a room.
One of them's got like a perfect bite mark on his hand.
It's fantastic. The highlight of that film, without a doubt. I mean, Keith David's whole performance is fantastic. The way every time he has a gun as well, he's always holding it up like James Bond, like this. Like every time, anywhere he goes, he's got the gun like held vertically upwards.
There's a casual use of firearms in it, isn't there? Like it escalates very quickly.
It does,
yeah. But it's got a good downer ending, though. The ending is great. I think it's like the ending you want it to be. You know? It's kind of blaze of glory. Everyone gets killed, but maybe we work out that there's aliens ruling everything. Who knows?
Yeah, I think Keith David's death is really well done because you don't see that coming, do you? Like it's just a good.
No.
And the fact they don't linger at all or anything like that. Like that film just gets out, doesn't it? It ends so fast. Like you get he's dead, then she's dead, then Roddy Piper's dead, and then you just got that.
Some boobs.
Yeah, completely unnecessary boobs. That's right at the end. So funny.
It is mental, that film.
Yeah.
But in a good way, unlike Innerspace.
Yeah, that's everything's good about 80s films, like the taking time to establish stuff, not being rushed. It's really good.
I think the actual filmmaking of it, though, is not amazing, like cinematography. I mean, I was watching it, I'm thinking, like, this could be any episode of, like, Knight Rider in the way it's shot.
Ooh,
no, there's some nice shots.
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying because them sort of Saturday things were quite well made, them Knight Riders and all
I think you're being a bit harsh there. I think he's better than...
Yeah, that's the set piece with the glass. When he puts on the glasses, that whole sequence is just like that's amazing.
I like that when it goes black and white because it kind of starts to look a little bit like an older film, like the Day the Earth Stood Still or something.
Yeah, And there's a lovely shot when he gets pushed through the window, which is another great surprise moment when he just like just twats him through the window and he rolls down a massive hill. And he hides underneath one of the condos. And there's a shot of the city behind him. It's a really beautiful shot that is of the.
Yeah.
There's bits.
What city is that? Is that LA? Los Angeles? Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to like there. I think. It doesn't age poorly in the way that Innerspace does. The makeup on the woman ages poorly. She looks ridiculous.
The fashions age badly, but yeah, the premise and even the effects don't look too bad.
Well, I don't know.
There's that bit where that like drone goes and sees him.
There's a bit of like a vacuum tube on his nose, like a little nozzle thing, isn't it? Sort of. Very odd.
Okay. But
I love the bit as well, you know, at the end when they get into the gate crash, the big award ceremony, and that tramp's taking them round. So it's such a weird bit because they obviously, I think they must have had more lines for Roddy Piper because there's about 5 minutes of just that guy talking at them. He goes like, and this is where here we are in this room, and before every line he goes, there's a massive breath in, and then starts talking and talking again. It's as though he looks like as though they're meant to say something, and they both just stare back at him like. We've got nothing. Just keep talking, dude. Very hard that
put
is.
A lot out there.
Yeah, I think so.
But he turned into like Willy Wonka type, just explaining everything, wasn't he? Like,
it's weird. That bit's the weirdest bit of the film, I think. I love the when he shows them going off into space, though. You know, the little platform.
the spaceport. Yeah, that's
really
weird. Isn't it?
The whole means of control and like the whole system is actually quite easy to take down.
Yeah, one cable channel.
Because it is like just one dish at the top of a building.
Yeah.
That's the depressing reality of enslavement, isn't it? Like, that's pretty much what would happen. We would just be tricked by one dumb thing.
Yeah.
I think that makes it more realistic, really.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I think we're all agreed that's a good film. But do we all agree where it goes in the list? Cue music. So is it better than Innerspace? It's definitely better than Innerspace. Yeah?
Yes.
We can all agree on
Yes.
that? Yeah.
Yes.
Is it better than Independence Day? It is definitely better than
Not
Independence
for
Day.
me.
Yes.
Not
What?
for me.
No?
No, it is.
No way.
What?
It's I'm not saying there isn't some good bits in it. There are some really good sequences, but I just don't think it's got anywhere near the sort of execution as in what it is in the story of what it is. That first is like the first half of the film is like meanders. That bit where he goes and finds the boxes of the glass. Well, he doesn't know what he's looking at, and he's going in the church. It's just
that's brilliant.
Quite confusing what's going on there.
Yeah,
it's building.
It's deliberate. Yeah, it's deliberately.
It's just weird, the beginning of it. Like, you're just there going, he's just wandering around because he can't act. And it's only when the guns start going off that it actually starts getting exciting, because you can believe him shooting a gun. You can't believe him, like, acting. So,
no, I really like the start of the film. I love the slow pace build up. And I also think that if you judge it in terms of, does the film achieve does it tell the story it wants to tell? I think They Live tells that story perfectly, start to finish. It's got he reveals the conspiracy, he brings it down, everyone dies, it's all there. Independence Day, I think there's a lot wrong with that story. As I said last week, lots of stuff, nothing's happening, lots of massive plot holes. It's just
no
I don't know. Let's just So two of us think it's better than Independence Day. Do you think it's better than?
It's going to be better than Independence Day, then, isn't it?
Well, but hang on. Do you think it's better than Wall-E, Alex?
No.
No. I thought I would think it's better than Wall-E, but I don't think it's better than Wall-E.
See, I do think it's better than Wall-E.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think it isn't, so we win.
Yeah.
So we found the place, but I guess that one of us thinks 4, one of us thinks. No, one of us thinks 5, one of us thinks 3, one of us thinks 4. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it goes in between Wall-E and Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, okay. You don't think it's better than Wall-E, Alex? I thought you'd be with me on that one.
No, I thought I would think it's, but
it's just not as classy as Wall-E.
I agree with Chris.
I don't want classy. I want dirt.
I don't. But I agree with Chris in that there are problems with it, and it rings really true now because of what's going on.
Yeah.
But maybe 5 years ago, I might have thought, oh, it's a bit outdated. This is a bit too.
If it was made by Kubrick and it was actually made like in a classier way and not trying to be like Die Hard at the end, it'd be all right.
If it was made by Kubrick, it would be below 6 on this list. But let's save that.
Looking forward to Kubrick week.
Yeah. All right. So
no, I think all round WALL-E is really good. Everything about WALL-E works, whereas They Live, not everything works. It's got some amazing bits, but not everything in it.
I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad that you introduced it to me.
I think.
Good.
Can we agree? Best soundtrack of the day, though. Definitely.
No way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's terrible.
Brilliant.
Ridiculously bad.
Brilliant.
So
I love
I've got
it
it on vinyl. So when you come around, Chris, we can put that on. We can play that. Yeah.
Compare that to Thomas Newman in WALL-E. No way.
You can have a 7-minute fight to it.
Yeah.
It is a lot like RoboCop. I think someone here compared it to RoboCop, in its really weird style, like how it's that sort of not post-apocalyptic, but kind of how people talk to each other in this crappy future.
Yeah, it's got that sort of like late 80s sort of bleak industrial America feel to it, hasn't it? RoboCop's got.
Yeah.
And
also how like the elite are.
Yeah. The class. It's a class thing, isn't it? The rich are the upper class, and everyone else is just kind of the poor.
Yeah.
The poor scum, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's RoboCop is in that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So number 4, we're going to say for They Live. We've agreed.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So I think that's the 3 films done. Let's just read out the whole list again then. I won't do this every week because eventually we'll get to too many films. But while we've got
I'm
6,
rude that we didn't actually. Not everyone watched Independence Day last week, so it's not getting the same. That's what concerns me.
It would have gone down though.
No, it wouldn't have.
I watched it not long ago.
You used to love Independence Day, so
I know I
give me
did.
that.
I know I used to love it, and I think I know I did. But I don't now.
But I did. I was very positive about it. I tried to be positive.
Chris, I used to love Innerspace.
Is every episode of this going to turn into Independence Day chat at the end? I don't even really like it. I'm just think it's not getting what it deserves.
It's better than They Live. That's what you think.
But it's better than Innerspace. We thought last week that everything would be beaten.
The aliens in They Live look a bit like Mars Attacks, don't they? Like the faces, quite bony.
Yeah. I was convinced that.
How does he make the jump that he thinks it's aliens though when he starts shooting people? How does he?
Because look at their faces.
Yeah,
but he could be the glasses could be showing him like the dead, or something. It could be aliens. It could be anything.
There's not many things it could be.
Yeah.
What else could it be?
I don't know, but he's decided that he's going to shoot the ones that look like that. Yeah. So
should he have not shot them if they're dead people?
I don't know.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, them glasses are really.
That would be a good twist at the end of the film. They weren't aliens; they were just dead.
Yeah.
Take it back.
I do like how all the posters have like the ulterior message in them. In that sort of,
Yeah.
Really cool way.
Yeah.
Black and white.
Obey. They live, we sleep.
Yeah.
They do indeed. But now it's our time to sleep. It's a nice little segue, isn't it? What about that?
Very good. Well done.
Oh, actually, no, because hang on, we're not finished. So, first of all, obviously, we want to encourage people to get involved with us. That's what it's all about. Engagement. # engagement. And thus, we have an email address, because if you don't agree with us, or if you do agree with us, or you've got any thoughts, then get in touch. The email address is mail@sciencefictionratingsystem.com. You can also tell us if you've got any ideas for themes or, of 3 films for us to watch.
We could send a message on Twitter as well.
Yeah, you could also send it on Twitter to Chris.
I couldn't tell you what it is. I know it's out there. If you find us on Twitter, there's a little button that you can send a message to. So
tell them what it is, though. Just find it. Tell the good folks.
Oh, well, if you put SF rating system.
There we go. At SF rating system.
Myself. That works.
Is that it?
No, that. Yes, it's there.
Brilliant.
It's there, yeah.
Woo!
Got it. At
SF rating system. Fantastic.
Yeah. And you can tweet stuff at us. Abuse. if you want to support Independence Day, just...
don't, but you can.
Or Innerspace. Might be some really hardcore Innerspace fans out there
if you
that
are
really, really upset.
If you are Dennis Quaid, then get in touch.
Oh, we should have. Yeah, we can at in Robert Picardo. He's a big Twitterer.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right, okay. We've also got sciencefictionratingsystem.com, and the list will be available there soon-ish. Probably by the time this is available, it'll be there.
And what is the list, Sam? You didn't read it out. You said you were going to,
right?
And
the
then
list
you didn't.
is in reverse order. At number 6, it is Innerspace. At number 5, Independence Day. ID4, that's what they called it at the time, wasn't it? Ridiculous advertising campaign. Anyway.
Well, that was hashtagging before there was hashtags.
Yeah, pointless. No one got Twitter. What was the point?
You've started him up again. You've started him up.
Anyway.
Way before its time.
Number 4, They Live. At number 3, Wally or Wall-E. At number 2,
Wall-E.
Jurassic Park. And at number 1, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah.
Very good.
Next week we'll be adding 3 more films to the list, and because it's Valentine's Day, well, in fact, actually, this list was submitted by our first fan, probably our only fan at the minute, Lucy, who sent the following email: "Hi, my name is Lucy. I'm a long-time listener and lifetime fan. As we approach the most romantic time of the year, I would like to recommend 3 sci-fi romance movies for you to watch. And they are, and listen at home, so if you want to watch along as well, the 3 films are, number 1, Safety Not Guaranteed. Number 2, Her. I said that weird, didn't I? Her.
It's just like you said,
No, H-E-R, the Joaquin Phoenix film, Her. And 3, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
And then she says...
It's going to be a loving.
Keep up the good work, guys. You complete me. So thanks for that message. So if you'd like to be like Lucy and get read out on the podcast, send your theme.
Thanks, Lucy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lucy.
Lucy emailed me as well.
Right, okay.
And
what did she say?
She said that Jurassic Park wasn't even science fiction.
Did she really?
Yeah. I had to explain what science fiction was to her, but long story short,
Wow.
we sorted it out.
Okay, you've sorted that. Okay.
Wow.
So complaints to Chris. He's the complaints department. And to that end, Chris, where can people find you on the internet?
At Chris Redding.
Alex?
It's at Love Horror. Yeah, so there you go.
And I am at...
Oh, God, you still haven't sorted this out.
You're out there.
Oh, my God.
I'm at
This
Will...
If you put
Last
Sam
time.
Draper in, will they find you?
No, they won't.
Sam
At Wheel the Robot or samdraper.net if you'd like to buy any of the wonderful tunes you've heard in today's episode.
Plug.
I'm my own advert.
Yes, you are.
I think there's an Aussie Rules footballer called Sam Draper. I've just put Sam Draper into Twitter.
Typical. All right, well, thanks for joining me, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks, getting loved up for Valentine's Day. In the meantime, everyone get watching those films, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good night.
Bye.
See ya.